Well, hello, creatives, community, and kind folks. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. I am your host, DBJ, and today we are going to talk about um, the a television series, both that aired in 1983, and we're also going to talk about the reboot of that series. But most importantly, no one in Romania has even regained consciousness yet. Hilarious, hilarious. That's funny. Yes, we today is the day after April Fool's Day. I didn't acknowledge it yesterday, but whatever. But anyway, for those who are just joining or finding the channel out, we talk about science fiction tabletop role-playing games and all of the elements that give us our mind fuel, that give us inspiration and such. And one part of this is we're going to talk about television and movies, mostly television, but some movies about the high concepts that we can pull from for our to use as a foundation for our storytelling. And one of those is a television series known as V. Now, yep, Dead Man says, and 2 days after Easter. Yeah, it sure is. And coming up in April 8th, there will I won't be able to broadcast. I will give more information, but I will, well, maybe. I will be enjoying watching the eclipse in Cleveland, Ohio. So I will be doing that. Oh, you're so bad, Drew. Boom, boom. Actually, let me put the comments up in here as well, if you guys don't mind. All right. So this television show is related to other television shows, and we may combine them with other versions of this. Yes. I don't know how many that don't suck. I don't really when I was a kid, I used to engage in it pretty heavy, but the number of April Fool's jokes that went bad is just like, oh. Although to be honest with you, we could have done that as a like a tabletop thing. Like, could you imagine going someplace and you're just playing April Fool's type jokes while the players, I mean, you could have some fun with that too. So maybe we might pull in that thread a little bit for festivities and behaviors and things like that. So um the television show. Now, in regards to this television show, um it's high concept, and we can go into the high concept here, as taken from TV tropes. A massive spaceships appear over many of the major cities of Earth, always, and simultaneously broadcast images of Anna, the leader of the visitors. She claims that her own species is delighted to find another intelligent species and want to trade their own technology for water and a common mineral. Mankind is eager to embrace the help offered by the V's, especially their clean energy and universal health care. A handful, however, are aware that the V's are not as benevolent as they claim, and that lurking under their beauty is an ugly intention. Dum dum dum. And the same was brought with the reboot of this particular series. And I there have been a number of there you says V reminds you of True Blood. There's a number of shows that remind me of this. Um, Earth Final Conflict is a television show. Colony. Um, oh, wow. Alien Nation is another one. And what I like about this concept is the not only aliens arriving on Earth, but the telling the story of that interaction where it's um, District 9 also reminds me of this, where the aliens come to Earth and we're telling the story of the social impact of those aliens on Earth. In District 9, we see the aliens are put into basically homeless camps in many ways. In Alien Nation, they combine with humanity, trying to blend in with our culture, even though they have different erogenous zones and eating habits and things of that nature. And we tell more of a police drama, procedural drama. In Earth Final Conflict, of course, the aliens come with their greater technology, and there's a mystery as to why they're here, and the humans that are trying to join them. And Alien Nation and V blend very well because there's a dark undercurrent. Like, why are they really here? Why are they giving us stuff? And we get to see all of the different factions that arise when humanity realizes that there's something greater than themselves. The television show Colony takes a little bit more of a insidious tone, where most of Los Angeles, and you kind of imagine a greater part of the United States, is sectioned off with walls, and some communities are treated well, others are deprived of their resources, and no one knows what's happening on the other side of the wall. But the aliens themselves are like not seen, but there are people who are, air quotes, being beamed up, and some think it's ascension, others think they're being eaten. No one knows why are they being transformed and things like that, so no one knows. But anyway, our co-host here at the show, while it's live, says, let's see. I hear you. Drew says, Lee Rimmer did a neat one yesterday on Facebook saying he's going to start an OnlyFans, reminding me of the joke that DBJ occasionally does. Yeah, having a tabletop role-playing channel on OnlyFans. Although we know today what OnlyFans stands for, but I suppose you could do that as a more adult-themed type of thing. Not PC, vulgar language, images, things like that. So I don't know. Like Caligula said, did they ever explain how the visitor space travel worked? I don't think so. And it kind of, V kind of goes off into this like chosen one thing. I felt like Earth Final Conflict did it better with the Synod arrived at Earth, and then you find out that they are here to dominate Earth because there's another alien race that's even more powerful than them, sweeping across the galaxy, destroying everything in their way. So the Synod's kind of like not nice about it because they know they need to make Earth has to become the final conflict. And now, mind you, it went off the rails a bit too. They changed the main actors, and it had a little bit of the chosen one, psychic chosen one aspect to it, which I don't know why they keep doing that in science fiction, but whatever. Yeah. Shitlord says, yeah, District 9 was awesome. Only anti-racism message in sci-fi ever that didn't suck. Yes, and the way they did it, again, it's one of the things that we love here on this channel is sometimes it's not about we talk about the high concept, but it's rare that the execution is done well, and they did an excellent job displaying the execution from a main character that we really weren't supposed to like. A bit of a coward and a naive, kind of an asshole, but placed in that situation. So we end up like feeling for the character who's just like put into a situation that's well over his head. And great actor. Even to this day, we see him in a lot of things. So yeah. Since I'm reading The Heroine's Labyrinth, me too, where the masked minotaur is usually part of the native culture, but with these social aliens, one could argue that they are masked minotaurs. Oh, hell yeah. Spoiler alert for those who've never seen the 1983 or the reboot in 2009 of the V. The V are visitors, and we got to spoil it, so close your ears or whatever. The visitors are humans wrapped in a biological skin because they are like lizard people. And, there's scenes of them pretty back in 83. It was really cool. But there's scenes of them using CGI as their jaws unhinge, and they eat like live rats and hamsters and things like that. And of course, they are here to harness water and something else, and of course, eat people. And pretty ridiculous to travel that far just to eat people, unless they have enough technology where they're just having fun with humanity. But there's a bit of that. And they do a lot of deception. And we find out that some of the Vs who are falling for the humans even though they're lizard people under their skin, don't like the fact that they want to come to Earth and dominate and eat the people. They're like, we should treat them nicely. And then you find out that the V's have their own personalities and they aren't monolithic, which is a huge mistake in alien races and stuff, that they always seem to be monolithic in their agendas and personality. So I really appreciate that from V, from Alien Nation, from Earth Final Conflict. They did the humans are different and the aliens are all different. So yeah. Shy Scott Squad says the War of the Worlds thing from 1991 was kind of cool. I liked it. The If you're referring to like the Tom Cruise version, I liked it. Rimmer. Just what everybody wants to say. I presume you mean Rimmer from Red Dwarf, because if you're talking about some other Rim, you're gonna have to pay $5.99 a month. I don't know. Yeah, aliens run out of food, so they go all the way across the galaxy to find more without starving. Perfectly plausible. Yeah, there's a I've been delving into the Three Body Problem. Now, I've never read the books. Three Body Problem, Dark Forest, and oh, I can't remember the third book, but Three Body Problem is the first book in its trilogy. And of course, there's a Netflix television show and Quinn's Ideas. I know you guys follow Quinn's Ideas. Quinn's Ideas has I was listening to like a 4+ hour montage of that he put together and listening to his podcast and such. And it goes into the fact that what I love about this high concept is basically 200 years plus into the future, aliens will arrive and they send a message that basically says, you are bugs. Essentially, we're being told, like, yeah, the physics, everything you know about your society is going to be gone. And the dark forest theory is that everything out there is trying to kill you. And if you don't kill it first, it will kill you. That's why the Fermi paradox doesn't see other alien races out there, because they're all annihilating each other. And we've been sectioned off, cordoned off by having our literal physics of perception being changed. And it's pretty interesting. And but getting deeper into V, alien, and this doesn't even have to be alien, but it could be a more powerful force arrives. If you want to make this a little bit more hard science fiction, like if I were to include this in Obsidian Star, I would just say that a culture that has been in the Oort cloud or beyond has come back. Drew said Lee Rimmer. No idea who that is. Yeah, I'm not sure who that is specifically, but it sounds like a special interest group on that site. Yeah. I am mostly turned off by the Three Body Problem because of the fascist tendencies of the author, thinking that authoritarian governments are a good thing. Well, that's from the point of view of the writer, who I believe is a Chinese, and spoken from that point of view, and the writing lends itself towards a collectivism. Let's put it out there. Three Body by Lu Zijin. Let's so we share this fairly to everyone. Three Body Problem. Of course, we're doing this through Wikipedia, but we'll maybe we'll go to the specific website. I'm going to close the overlay down, and here it is. I don't know, I'm butchering the name. Is a story by Chinese science fiction author Liu, and it's Cixin. Siken, the first novel in the Remembrance of Earth's Past trilogy. The series portrays a fictional past, present, and future wherein Earth encounters an alien civilization from a nearby system of 3 sun-like stars orbiting one another. a representative example of the three-body problem in orbital mechanics. And for those who don't know, in orbital mechanics, when you have two bodies that have gravity, when you instill a third body with gravitational force, the math becomes very difficult to calculate. So one gravitational body, we can calculate it. Two, difficult, but we can figure that out. When you have a third gravitational body, it becomes known as the three-body problem. So if you are a star traveler and there's like a binary system plus a planet, that's three bodies. And how do you navigate, and which gravity do you get pulled into, and how do they affect each other, and things like that. So the math gets complicated. And that's just from science. But of course, this goes into more of a sociological thing. The story was originally serialized in Science Fiction World in 2006 before it was published as a standalone book in 2008. Received the Galaxy Award for Chinese science fiction. 2012, it was described as one of China's most successful full-length novels. The English translation by Ken Liu was published by Tor Books in 2014, et cetera, et cetera. And it goes into his background and the plot. During the Cultural Revolution, Ye Wen-jie, a astrophysicist graduate from Songjiao University, sees her father get beaten to death during a struggle session by Red Guards from Jinghao High School. Ye is branded a traitor and is forced to join the labor brigade in Inner Mongolia, and is later sentenced to prison, where she is recruited by, butchering these names, Yang Wening and Lei Zhesheng, two military physicists working under Red Coast, a secret Chinese initiative to use high-powered radio waves to damage spy satellites. And I can see that these spy satellites are kind of, ooh, this is pretty long. Ooh, I can't read all that. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. If from what I understand, the first book series delves into what does humanity do when we know humanity will still contact. I mean, an alien force more powerful than us will contact us within 2 years, and what happens when we find out that we are so insignificant to them. Yeah. Shai says collectivism has a lot in common with that F word you said. Yeah. Here in the States, I can use the word fascism. But yeah, collectivism depends on your personality. And mind you, like I've always said, extremism never works. It doesn't matter what direction you take it in. And so the author comes from a culture where people working together, supplanting their individuality to get a thing done is a good thing. And lots of things are done. Lots of great works are done when everyone works together. So I can understand that point of view. Oh, Lee Rimmer is someone from the RPG YouTube sphere. His channel is Your Humble Game Master. He has sadly not done anything in recent years. I did not know that. I know a Lee known as Juice, but I didn't know if that's his last name. I didn't think so. And that's not his channel. So no man. Collectivism is where everybody takes up farming and grows food together in perfect harmony. Everybody's happy. We know all about that here. I don't know about the farming part, but I can see there's power in working together with people. Neighborhoods have progressed greatly and have a unification when they work together. It's like struggle session. I know. You find out that aliens will visit you in 2 years. Is this some BS where they were sending messages back in the past? No. They were sending a message. They received it and they know they're going to arrive. Although there is a because the alien forces have altered physics, that they can follow humanity in real time and such. There's a whole big thing about it. Anyway, but the idea that the alien race will be here and how it affects society, just like in V, aliens arrive, how does society change? And I love that part for tabletop role playing. So let me go down please give me the opportunity to go down a laundry list of things we can pull from the television series V, from Three Body Problem, from Alienation, and Earth Final Conflict and such. So what happens when we discover that there's an alien race, whether they've already arrived, whether they are in orbit, whether they come down to Earth and send messages? So one of those things is a religious cultism. Humanity going like, these people are far better than us, and we should join them because they bring to us great gifts. Now, the sycophant, sycophantism, the kissing ass, the bowing down before them, the robe wearing, incense lighting, Birkenstocks wearing, kind of like a hippieism comes about, and that could be a bit of a factionism where people are like, oh no, they are our overlords, and we will follow them no matter what they say. There's also the opportunist, especially as was portrayed in V and Earth Final Conflict, where I believe there was a character named Sandoval in Earth Final Conflict that had a techno-organic growth on his shoulder and arm, and gave him like the ability to perceive things, and this arm that had like a Witcher style growth down his arm that gave him greater strength or something. And listen, if aliens gave us, even minor special things like, oh, we're going to put this bug in your ear that gives you telepathy. We're going to have these maggot-like things infest your shoulder, and it makes you immune to all disease. We're going to put a centipede-like thing on the back of your neck, and you no longer have to sleep. And oh, you're as strong as 10 other humans or something. People would be like, hells yes, I don't care that my body's being infected. Not that aliens have to infect people that way. It could be it could be washing their genetic system, or breathing in an alien mist, or injections, or going through a Genesis chamber, or whatever the case. You make it up, right? Psychic power that affects your brain, and you have astral projection or something. Any special ability that makes one human better than everybody else, you're going to get people that are going to go towards it. And Sandoval was a human acting on behalf of the aliens in Earth Final Conflict. The same was with V. There were people who were wearing the outfits. They were it came across as a little jackbootish, but there were human beings running around spying, being like secret police on humanity to tell the aliens what humanity was up to, so that we as humans wouldn't cause trouble for the aliens as they gave away. They started doing good works for people. And there were many people who legitimately felt like they deserved to give the alien service. They were like, hey, you helped my sick children, grandparents, whatever, were injured, and you healed them of a terminal illness. You know what? For that, I'm with you, right? It's like, dude, dog, we down. And so there were a lot of people doing that. So that's another faction. You also have the underground who's like, I don't trust them at all. You absolutely are going to have an underground of spies, saboteurs, rebel faction, anybody and everyone who's gathering together in the underground, literally and figuratively. That is like, what are they up to? What's going on? We have to have insiders trying to figure out what's their problem. I hear you, there, shitlords. Yeah, everybody in Germany has a long enough laundry list after that weekend. Yeah. So it took 2 years for the message to arrive, like it was going faster than light speed. Yes, from what I understand, in the three-body problem, our perception of physics was different than the physics that was possible outside of our own perception. So it was the fact that these other alien cultures lived in a world where there were like 10 dimensions, and they started annihilating each other through different dimensionalities, which also started to annihilate those dimensions. So we are limited by light speed, but that's only because we were in a bubble of physical limitation that outside of that bubble they could break, if that makes sense. So yeah. Sorry, can you explain the three body problem? In a little bit. I did explain the physics of it. The book series is a little bit more intricate, but three body problem, mathematically it's very difficult to assess three gravitational bodies that are pulling on each other and how you can navigate around those three bodies. Like, oh, an Earth-like planet revolving around a binary star system is a three body problem. So what gravitational pull does a single planet like Earth when it revolves around two other gravitational forces, two stars? So that's a three body problem in physics. In this book series, the alien race has already figured it out, and it goes to show that they are far more powerful than us. A bubble of limitation. Hey, listen. Most social networks are like that. Let's not forget about the enshittification of the social networks. Yeah. Oh, Defiance. Damn, dead man. Yeah. The sci-fi series about 7 alien races of the Votan Alliance coming to Earth thinking it was uninhabited. I don't know why they would think that. If they could arrive here, they'd probably figure out our, well, I don't know. Maybe we were primitive in our radio signals, but I think they could figure that out. But it was a good show. I don't remember much about it. I caught bits and pieces and kind of fell asleep on a bunch of episodes. But Defiance was one, and it was always known for having that large TV Defiance. Let me put an image up here. Let's see, images. It always had the what's the Salt Lake City? There it is. Okay. It had the image in the background of the monolithic arch that's in the background in here in the States. See if I could find a better one. No. And this was yet another one of those like pretty people from Canada shows. There it goes. Yeah. And I love the concept of St. Louis. I was about to say Salt Lake City, St. Louis, and Minneapolis, and that region of the states. Thank you, there, dead man. Votan sounds suspicious. Of course it does. Yeah, it's pretty funny when you start making up names for things, and it's like, it's the Dragors, it's the Votans. It's like your name of your own race sounds horrible. I'm going to use TV tropes to figure out what you're about. But also we do have the law enforcement idea of this, where we have our main characters who might be stuck in the middle of both investigating the aliens and keeping humanity under wraps, right? Like, because we still have governments that are all going to be like, they're going to want war, or they're going to want to have treaties. They're going to watch other governments to find out what they're doing. So every government is going to want their own technology for themselves and try to explain to the aliens that we're not all the same. Plus there's cultural differences, and then there's all other kinds of things. The scientific arm of this, like, for example, do the aliens bring bacteria? Do they have pets? What about pheromones and types of radiation or high frequency sounds? Or what do the aliens eat? Even do they even breathe our oxygen? Do they plan on terraforming Earth, and are we changing because of our relationship with them? Such as movies like of Arrival, their language makes us think in non-linear temporal forms. If we learn their language, maybe the aliens have other capabilities and things. And are we reflecting on them? Are they reflecting on us? Oh, okay. Votan is the German word for the god Odin, and the name of the first German tank in World War I. I did not know that. It reminds me, the name comes across as one of those like very early comic book names that they only created because it sounded cool. Like it didn't even have a meaning. It was just like the name of the monster is Agnafor, right? And you're just like, why? Well, because it sounded cool. Fee Fi Fo Fum was like a dragon or something. Yeah, Drew says Votan sounds like Fotan. I guess the orange ex-president might have been one. Stop. Yeah. Lizard folk with skin on the outside. Yeah. Peeling the skin back and eating rats by dislodging their jaw, much like human beings. Also, we understand that these high concepts, of course, are always related to reflections of ourselves, right? It's we think society is civilization is always paper thin. And the minute you pierce that, humanity tends to break down into these tribalistic things, categories, whether it's for survival or make selling our soul or rebelling against or finding out what the aliens even want and doing that. Yep. So absolutely. Yeah, it's one of those names you're not supposed to say over here associated with bad people. I did not know that. I find it funny and pretty interesting how you guys are, across the pond, and your ability to use the interwebs is altered, even though we are communicating with each other. I guarantee you there are things here that would not be presentable verbally or visually over there, and vice versa. So I wonder what that is. I'm not going to play that game, but I'm sure there is something like that. But let's see, let's go into the mini series. So in the original miniseries, at least, of course, there's the plot of a race of aliens arrives on Earth in a fleet of 50 huge saucer-shaped motherships, which hover over major cities across the world. They reveal themselves on the roof of the United Nations building in New York City. Always something like that, right? Um, uh, Appearing human but requiring special glasses to protect their eyes and having a distinctive resonance to their voices. Referred to as the visitors, they reach out in friendship, ostensibly seeking the help of humans to obtain chemicals and minerals needed to aid their ailing world, which is revealed to be a planet orbiting the star Sirius, or Sirius? I know it's Sirius. In return, the visitors promise to share their advanced technology with humanity. The governments of Earth accept the arrangement, and the visitors, commanded by their leader Jean and his deputy Diana, begin to gain considerable influence with human authorities. And of course, strange events begin to occur. Scientists in particular become the objects of increasing media and public hostility. They experience government restrictions, et cetera, et cetera. And those are some great plot points. Disappearance of people who have individuals in the public eye that start changing their opinions about something. Maybe their personalities shift or become cold. They become robotic, or they delve into they become traumatized speaking in riddles or delving into science that they normally would not have. Maybe there's an underground of scientists gathering together because the scientists are being accused of certain types of crimes and things like that. Yeah, shitlords. Yeah, I see that over here. Lots of that kind of stuff. A lot of cool Viking stuff has been co-opted by racist groups. Yeah, and it's a shame because I have a great interest. I love ancient cultures and how they view themselves as the heroes of their own story. And unfortunately, like um uh alt-right biker type of things has been co-opted with like Viking, uh, symbology and imagery and stuff. Yeah, yeah. Shai says it's very frustrating that Norse runes are pretty much verboten. They look cool. Yeah. Yeah, serious. It's serious. Yes, true. I know. It is serious. Just like but making fun of the pronunciation because some people may not understand, especially if they're listening in. They're like, why aren't you being serious? It's like, no, it's a Sirius as opposed to not joking. Yeah, all those cool Japanese characters are considered problematic too. Yeah, cultural appropriation. Yep. Yeah. Although I think it would be hilarious to gather together a bunch of like kanji and other Japanese writing and find out that like we found out that they're like jokes, and Japanese people who saw them would just start laughing at you. Japanese and Chinese symbols and language and stuff. Yeah, we here in the States sometimes appropriate things without truly understanding them, and crazy, crazy, crazy. Which, to be honest, really falls into the alien, advanced civilization comes to Earth, and we start to like embrace their language and their bits of their culture, trying to look like them, dress like them, uh, sound like them, even smell like them, especially if they have like biotechnology. We start incorporating it into our bodies. Maybe they have cyber technology, or they have really cool robots that start walking around with us, and we're like, yeah, they're our servants, and really they're, or bodyguards, and they're like, no, they're not. They're watching you to put a blaster bolt in the back of your head if you get out of line. But how cool would it be to have like half a dozen robots that literally do anything you say, and they become the new gangs, the new militias, the new government agencies on Earth, and that kind of thing. Yeah, I like the idea of this. An advanced civilization could be human, maybe like an obsidian star. They travel out into the Oort cloud, an arc ship, filled with thousands, tens of thousands, a million people. A fleet of ships go out to the Oort cloud, and they come back, and they've been able to greatly advance their technology, and they're coming back with advances in science and things like that. But we realize maybe humanity's a little bit more alien than we think they are. Also, we always think we're the hero when we might be the victims. A lots of like the appropriation of violent, nihilistic, downfall of civilization because a new one will rise up, downfall of government because a new one will rise up. Those of us that are fans of that kind of thought always think that we are going to be the chosen few, that we are going to be the ones plucked out of obscurity because we are the heroes. We never think like, yay, down with the government. And then we're like trampled over or blasted or imprisoned or starved or, arrested. Like those that are fans of it are just never like think that we're going to get rolled up into obscurity. And I think that's pretty ridiculous when people are into like, yeah, we need a new world order, and because I think that I'll be one of the chosen people that's going to be. No, you're probably going to be insignificant when you take down when there's starvation and civil war and stuff like that. You're not going to be a hero, but we like to think we are. Yeah. Yeah, those cool symbols are still allowed over here. You should all move to Transylvania. Maybe, maybe. He said, nah, I'm fine staying in Germany. I'm okay with not seeing all those symbols too often. Yeah. They even co-opted Yakuza. Yep. Ones with the cool tattoos. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And no, can't say that word here because I'm sure YouTube will pop me. Associated with North stuff over here because it's a totally different heritage. Yeah. The Draconis combined from BattleTech also has the Yakuza. I know I'm butchering oh, let me put the overlay back in. But yeah, the there is a danger, an honor and a danger in appropriation, and maybe we can even talk about that. You know what? We're going to do that. We will talk about appropriation because I feel like because we are fans of, or at least I am, of transhumanism, posthumanism, and going into the future, that I do have factions that are like rehistories. The histies are like a group of people that want to um, keep alive cultures that we may be losing because of the homogenization of culture. Like, just because our ability to communicate worldwide whenever we want to in real time uh, is both great, but some people feel very threatened that their culture, their ethnicity, their language, their food, their behaviors, their music is and art expression is being supplanted, and they will lose it. Because the United States is such a melting pot. There's so many cultures here in that feel threatened by literally being bred out of existence by genetics, or having their language being eliminated, and that sort of thing. And I can imagine there would be people who are not just um, uh, historians in the literary, scientific, educational manner, but people who want to live those cultures so that they remain in the public eye. And I think that'd be kind of cool. Like, in the far future, there are people who are still learning and teaching how to start a fire with just twigs and things like that. Learning how to make um armor that old medieval knights and Japanese soldiers and whirling dervishes and oh, what are the soldiers from India and other places? Anyway, those around the world, the Mongolian plains riders and Zen archery and all that kind of stuff, and trying to keep that culture alive. But it would be appropriation in some ways, because some of those people didn't grow up in those locations, but there are people around the world today trying to keep cultures alive, and it's kind of cool. Caligula says, I wanted to get a Japanese demon tattoo all over my back. I love some of the masks and things like that. But then Yakuza turned into a fashion label for skinheads. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. I heard that nobody in Japan gives an F about cultural appropriation. They think it's cool that everybody in the West thinks they're cool. Yeah. And there is a bit of that, right? Like you often see different things, whether it's like Wild West culture or hip hop culture or little things like that, like um capturing a moment in time and space and then appropriating that specific thing, like classic rock culture or hippie culture or what have you, and seeing people uh embrace that. It's kind of cool. And I do think that in using that for like tabletop role playing games, like, why wouldn't modern day or sci-fi people embrace a different culture, especially if it's brand new and kind of fun and interesting, and they're gaining something from it, like the universal health care in V, um, or the helping of family and friends and being given great gifts, or could you imagine being given a big brick of pure platinum or gold for your, I don't know, entertainment or reading of books, or like something simple, and you go, wow, they just wanted me to dance and they gave me a brick of platinum. I can dance all day if they're going to do this. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it is a big disappointment that ninjas in black suits are nothing but made up 80s stuff for kids. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I don't know about Mexico, but how do they feel about it being, appropriated? And it's the same thing here, right? Like with African Americans, about being upset when people get like dreadlocks or getting their hair braided, or hip hop culture being co-opted and things like that. I mean, there's a lot of like hip hop culture around the world that's almost more embraced than it is here, when it's turned into let me just get paid, rather than like graffiti and break dancing and other hip hop styles of dance and things like that. The only good culture is punk culture. Not giving a single F about your culture. Yeah, the culture of not giving an F about culture and your culture, which is a real thing, right? Like for every faction out there, there's always the faction that's like, I don't give a f about you and yours, and which is a choice. You know, there is a there like high school. I always joked about when explaining. Yes, I'm going to bring up Vampire the Masquerade again, because it brought a new dynamic for its time in the '90s. It brought a new dynamic in role playing games, and I always explained the vampire culture to newbies as high school, but you're immortal. It's like all the groups in high school, including like the teachers and smoking in the bathroom and the bullies and the emos and the geeks and the outsiders. It's the same thing. And you could really use high school and all the foibles associated with high school, grade school, high school, college, and writ large in an intergalactic society, right? Like in high school, you have like the teachers and the deans, in college and the principal and vice principal and substitute teachers, and all that. Traveling from planet to planet is like getting on the bus and being bussed in. You have your parents, which could be considered like the legal authorities over your individual culture or race. What else? You have bullies, jocks, geeks, drama kids, and all that kind of stuff. And you could make those alien races. You could just make those different separations of humanity. Like, for example, the emo kids, or I'm sorry, the drama kids could be people who are here to protect and exploit public speaking, dance, music, artistic endeavors, learn from aliens and what their music sounds like. Maybe it has drug culture and that kind of thing could be part of it. You have the jocks, and the jocks might not just be military or mercenary, which you could make those the kids that run around the halls like hall passing and running back to the teachers. That might be more military, but or secret police. But I would say that the jocks might be like humans against aliens. Like, how strong are you? How fast are you? Yeah, appropriation of gangster rap in Germany is a never-ending comedy. That's awesome. Oh man, you got to listen to Coast Contra. It's a four-person group who has lyrics that are so multi-layered that it requires 3, 4, 5 different. You have to listen to it over and over again and pause it, and then they even have the lyrics underneath their freestyles, and even then you don't catch the doubles and triples and quadruple entendres. They're a really good group. I definitely see Coast Contra. It is cool as fuck that everybody just knows about Vlad and Dracula from us. Yeah, it's a shame. It's cool, but it's also a shame to be like, yeah, our claim to fame is like Vlad the Impaler, right? Like, it's cool, but then again, it's like, someone like me visits there. It's like, I'm gonna ask the question. Like, I can't not ask the question, even though I know that I'm sure you'd be rolling your eyes there, Taste. But part of me is like, I want to see the castles. I want to see the impaling. It's horrible, but yeah. Yeah, Deadman says, yeah, usually they say nice when they see non-Mexicans in Mexican cultural garb. There is a bit of that where you look at other people that are appropriating your culture and you give them the head nod, like, yeah, you all that, like, right? Because part of that is a bit of pride. Like, yeah, I'm glad you are dressing and acting and speaking our culture, which makes me laugh when I see people who are like very ethnically prejudiced, and yet they are like, yeah, I hate you except for your food and language and eating habits, your recipes and all that. Like, it's pretty hilarious when I see that. Like, even your hatred is hypocritical. Oh man, yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Sorry, try to catch up to our co-host here. Yeah, Drew says, yeah, funny having been a theater kid myself, the Toreador and Vampire were never appealing to me. Oh, I like the well, listen, there's a talking about Vampire the Masquerade, segueing a little bit. On purpose, the clans in Vampire are meant to be stereotypical so that it is always about the do you belong without us, because if you don't belong with us, you if you're not for us, you're against us. And that's always been a thing, right? Where if you are not part of our group, then you don't belong in our group and you are our enemy. And factionism is a big thing even now. Like, I can't wait for the movie Civil War to come out. And it's definitely like people are like, oh, it hits close to home because so many factions here, politically and economically and things like that, here are very much like, if you're not for us, I hate you, you're against us. And then there's always the extremism of the people that belong to those groups. And it's kind of sad. And like I say, you're a loser if you're part of a faction that is more harmful to not be part of your faction than it would be to be part of your faction. Like, if you've called for physical violence against people because they're not part of your group, um, then you're pretty ridiculous, right? If you can't convince someone on your merits alone and give someone the freedom to live and think their own way, then I have no respect for you and your thoughts and your group. Yeah, as Shai says, Squidward, do you mean the Mayan Aztec cultural garb? I love the look of like Mayan, Aztec, Incan, the intricacies of it and things like that. I don't know about if I would appropriate it, but I'm going to incorporate a ton of that stuff for Obsidian Star. So, matter of fact, I should show you some of the AI art that I've re-established, possibly for the game. Yeah, ponchos and sombreros. Yeah. Speaking of Western, one of the reasons why Silver Silverado is my favorite Western movie is because it actually has a black protagonist. I mean, there have been so many people of color folks back then and around, but Hollywood whitewashed all that away. To be honest, that's why I love my Bass Reeves t-shirt, because what I find pretty ironic is that Bass Reeves, one of the most influential, most successful law enforcement officers, was once a slave and had a 30 plus year career in law enforcement. You would think that individual would be posted everywhere, right? Like both as a symbol of law and order and the a method to cross lines when it comes to minorities and law enforcement, and yet no one knows about that dude. Like, really? But how people are. Like, that's where it was whitewashed away because of with the Lone Ranger, who was a white guy with Tonto as sidekick. Just like there's a 9/11 movie with a black Marine that came from Maine down to New York City, who was helping people out and didn't want to get credit for it and went back home. He who actually lives in Columbus, Ohio now. It was part of Extreme Home Makeover. He got a big house, but anyway, they whitewashed him and turned him into a white dude in his rendition in the movie. So it happens all the time. The good ideas will rise to the top by virtue of their inherent excellence. Good ideas don't require force. Exactly. Exactly. And it's there's a line from a movie that was told to me by a gentleman when I had years in college, 2 years of college, and there was a Christian religious group that I was part of, and it was a really cool dude. He had like a motorcycle and a helmet. He had like his Christian religious symbols on it, and but a really cool dude. And someone asked him, "Why don't you witness to us more often?" Because he was not a person who proselytized his religion to other people very often. And his answer to that was, my faith is not fragile enough to need me to have to sell it to you. It sells itself to me and everyone else. It doesn't need me to defend it. And I always appreciated his candor about that. Like, I don't need to sell it to you because it sells itself. And by his behavior, his outlook, his way of being, and would fall along that. And a similar line was in The Matrix. Like, I don't believe in your faith, and it's like, I don't need, my faith doesn't require you to believe it. I like that. Yeah. There has to be, because so many Africans came over here, deposited on the islands in Mexico. So there are, skin tone wise, a lot of breeding. That's why, although many of them settled in South America, and learned capoeira, which is a brilliant martial art hidden under the noses of their at the time their slave owners, and became outlawed, and then now is a historical uh, culture that is being saved and protected. I believe it does play out. It's just not very sexy. Caligula's like talking about good ideas survive. It's just that it's the light side, dark siding of things, right? It it's the idea that, let me see if I can show some of this artwork. Um, it is very much the idea. Yep, I can show some of this artwork. All right, so I believe it's very much the idea that the dark side is easy, and so of course, with the dark side being easy, that means it's the sexy thing, right? It's it it's the gifts and money and prestige and acknowledgement. I was listening to a podcast that was talking about how, um, so many people now are self-deleting themselves, unfortunately, because of three factors. And those three factors are pushing people to um, self-delete. And it is because of three factors. One is acknowledgement, not being listened to. That you we are yelling into our social media, and not being and no one is listening to us in the social media. And so social media is giving us a large platform to speak, which the downfall is that people are not listening to us. Secondly is acceptance. We are not brought, sometimes we want to belong to a group, and that group is not accepting us. And so not only is someone not listening to what we're saying, we are not being accepted in the groups that we want to be part of. And then lastly is hopelessness. And hopelessness drives us because we feel like economically, socially, romantically, family ties, work, that we are treading water. That we not only is it just, are we not moving, and when, of course, we know if we tread water in the ocean, eventually you're going to get tired. What's the term? If we here in the States, if you're not moving forward, you're falling behind. And so we are comparing ourselves to a portion of the population that has the appearance of perfection that isn't perfect. People are having fun, they look beautiful, they have money, and social media only shows us the best of their lives. They're rich, they're famous, they're beautiful, they're having lots of success. And so the hopelessness, the belonging, the not being heard, the non-acknowledgement is driving people to, air quotes, consider self-deletion because of the logic of that. And it's unfortunately, and too many things, too many people are taking advantage of those three things that are harming our psychology. And if you can make it sexy, like giving you a voice, or acknowledging your dark thoughts, or giving you a fictional position of authority, or making the dark words and thoughts that you say sound cool by memifying it, making t-shirts that say a cool thing, having other people, give you the rah-rah, love bombing your dark intentions and thoughts, then that's how people take advantage. The non-sexy thing is peace and meditation and calmness and joy and just listening to someone without having judgment on their thoughts, by just being there and sitting with someone with no words at all, and just tell me how you feel. I don't care how evil or bad or terrible it is. Just talk to me. Just acknowledge. And so I hope, even though this is a tabletop role playing channel, I hope a little bit of that comes across here, or at least my personality comes across, that I love hearing what other people have to say and that kind of thing. Shit lords, yeah. Um, Personally, I think the dark side is addictive, and if I ever do some Star Wars again, I will reshape the mechanism for that to feel more like dealing with addiction. Ooh, hadn't thought about that portion of it, but yes, so it's true. We want to play punk bars, but the punks won't accept us because we're not communists. Yeah, yeah. Meditation isn't cool anymore. I do a little bit. I don't know if I call it meditation. I learned it in martial arts. It's more self-reflection, internalism. You start with your feet, move up to your head, you take an assessment of your body, and then you focus on a thing so you're not distracted by other things. So you listen to your body. What does the bottom of your feet and your toes and your ankles and your knees, and you can move up your body, and it's a heart rate and that kind of thing. So that's kind of like my meditative state. I don't believe I've gotten any deeper than one level, maybe two. Anyway, okay, let me very quickly pass through. So I decided to use a different color palette, red, white, black, um, for some of the AI art to come across with some, and you'll notice without me telling you that there are some cultural um, appropriations, or actually cultural depictions of some of these people who would probably be in the future. Now, some of it is good, some of it isn't. It's a little bit stereotypical, but I decided to download some of these images that were brought up. I use Canva for it. Like, here's, of course, Vikings didn't have horns all over their helmets, but stereotypically, you type in Viking or something like that, and that's what comes up. And it's difficult to get rid of it because it's like, because I literally put in there like, please no horns. And what did they do? Gave me a middle finger and was just like, yeah, horns everywhere. Um, Stuff like that, knighthood and things like that, far future stuff. So I thought I'd show some of this to you guys. Um, yeah, cultural integrations, of course. Did you have to do Seiza, where you sit on your feet and it hurts like hell? Yes, I sure did. I can't do that any longer. I'm of an age and joint um, thing that, yeah, I can't do that any longer. Mm-mm-mm. I uh, I I love how to count in Japanese. It's pretty easy too. It's fun to show people how to do it. But yeah, try to do some of these images here and some stuff like that. So you can tell very much that I wanted to cover a bit of different cultures from around the world and how that would reflect into the future and off world, because I think people would still hold on to some of those things, whether it's like through fashion or um religion or languages and things like that. So yeah, so we're going to get out of here pretty soon. Some of this stuff, some of it looks like something, an image like this, I actually appreciated that it threw some of these things at me, because you can kind of tell it is from a culture, but you're not really sure what, or it looks kind of a little bit more futuristic, so it's kind of cool. So yeah, but yep. Little anime looking. The minute you type in something like Japanese or something, it always pulls that up. It's like, yeah, it's yeah, it, it, ichi ni sun chi go rokyo chichi. ichi, ni, san, chi, go, rokyo, chichi, hachi, ku, ju. And there's little funny physical things you can do. So you scratch your knee for itchy, like you're itchy, and then knee, you scratch your knee. Sun, point to the sky. Chi, go shh, shake she, hold up to your lips. Go is like you do the word like you're trying to go. Rokyo is like you row your arms like rowing a boat. Shichi, you hold up two fingers, but you hold them to your lips like you're going shishi. Don't want to go like shh. Hachi, you hold your stomach like you're laughing. Ha ha hachi. Cool, like you walk like you're cool. And ju is all of you. Oh, not me, but all of you. Yeah, I was in kendo for a while as a kid and attempted to wear my hakama to school, but never did. Yeah, yeah, I was proud of some of that stuff, but I never did to wear it to school and such. Then I got back into it later in life. The wife purchased me a martial arts um, um, policy, a membership, and I loved it ever since. So here's some really cool images here. Some don't make any sense, like this one, but I like it. I'm not sure exactly. Looks like a mirrored brick or something. It's kind of cool. But anyway, guys, thank you. Oh, there's the some of these things that I made. Black holes and TTRPGs. Yeah, talk about that. Power armor. Those are some of the thumbnails. We'll throw some of those up at some point. But yep. So yeah. Different types of people. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for being part of the show. Again, I know there's controversy about using AI art, and I'm sure people would be upset for me using it, but it actually makes a weird bit of sense to use it because it is a game about like transhumanism and posthumanism and AI rights and things like that. And of course, it's going to be free. So are there artists contributing their art to this endeavor? I would say yes. But I'm not going to get paid for it. And if I'm able to make this print on demand, it'll just be at cost. So I'm not sure exactly how that would work. Well, I know how it would work, but like Drive Through RPG is a good example of being able to put something up for print. You just pay for it on demand. But yeah, although the number of pages is growing, it's like whatever. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. And letting me just display some of this. We're having some. I'm surprised the show went as it did. We did have a power outage, and we're having storms here, so it's pretty wild. So, I'm in. Hold on for a minute. Guys, have a great one. I will see you later. I have got to get out of here. Thank you very much. See you later.